Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are going to damage test all of Arlecchino's constellations from C0 all the way up to C6. But not only that, we are also going to test 3 different weapons. This video is a solo, no buffs, single hit damage showcase. It is not a DPS showcase, and we will only look at the first normal attack and the burst. We only count crits. We will only absorb Blood Debut for the 130% bond of life. C0 plus Refinement 1 Crimson Moon Semblance will be the base value for our calculations. And we won't take C2's extra damage instance into account for our calculations. My Arlecchino stats are currently like this with a signature weapon. My artifacts are quite bad and we don't even use an attack nor pyro damage goblet. We also use the new best installed artifact set, Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy. And we will not only use her signature on Refinement 1 and 5, but we will also test Refinement 1 Deathmatch and Refinement 5 White Tassel. Also, her talents are currently 866. C0 Refinement 1 Crimson Moon Semblance did extremely well. Her normal attacks are exceptionally strong. On the other hand, her burst lacks some damage, but that's okay because you should use your burst to heal and not to nuke down your enemies. Her 3-star option, White Tassel, doesn't disappoint either. Getting Refinement 5 on this weapon is very accessible for everybody. But the interesting part about all this is that her 3-star weapon, White Tassel, does more normal attack damage than her 4-star weapon, Deathmatch. Constellation 1 greatly enhances the damage dealt with Deathmatch. Her C1 plus Refinement 1 Crimson Moon Semblance already deals an insane amount of damage. The extra damage instance from C2 is quite noticeable. But as stated in the beginning, we won't add these numbers to our value. C3 is another great upgrade which increases the damage dealt with her normal attacks. We ignore her C4 because it doesn't increase her damage. Her C5 slightly increases her burst damage. At last, her C6 gives her a massive buff to normal attacks, and her burst will become a nuke. Maxing out the refinement on her signature weapon gives her another insane damage boost. Arlecchino truly excels in terms of damage. Even using the most free-to-play option, C0 White Tassel proves to be a really good choice. Her signature is of course her best 5-star weapon, but there are other 5-star weapons which will do nearly as good. In terms of raw normal attack damage, Refinement 5 White Tassel can outperform low-level Refinement Deathmatch. Because of White Tassel's low base attack, it is mandatory that you use an attack buffer like Bennett. We calculated single hit damage and not DPS. Therefore, the greater crit rate on Deathmatch will make this weapon much better in a DPS scenario. Her overall best constellations in terms of damage increase are C1, C3 and C6. It is also important to mention that her overall DPS damage spike from C0 to C6 will not be over 300%. That's only because of the massive damage increase of her burst at C6, which is about 3.5 times more damage than on C5. Finally, what I would recommend you to pull for. First things first, you don't need any constellation nor any 5-star weapon. As seen in the calculations, a high refinement White Tassel works perfectly for her. It does tons of damage. And if you bought the battle pass and have deathmatch, that's even better. But White Tassel is perfectly fine. And if you really want the drip, just go for Crimson Moon Semblance. But what I would recommend is that you go for her Constellation 1 instead. Her damage output is quite similar, but you also get interruption resistance, which allows you to be more flexible in your team building. If you only have her on C0, you should really consider playing her with a shielder. For the next good stopping point, if you already have a good 5-star polearm, like Primordial Jade Winged Spear or Staff of Homer, I recommend going for C2. If you don't have such weapons, you need to make a choice. If you want to deal more damage, you can go for Crimson Moon Semblance, but if you want to tank more, you can go for C2. Afterwards, if you don't have her weapon yet, just go for her weapon. The next stopping point would be C3, which is again a nice damage increase. The last big damage increase is C6. C6 buffs her overall damage and her burst will become a nuke. And please, don't pull for any constellation beyond C3 if you are not sure that you will get C6. And at the very last, if you are as crazy as me, or just a Giga Whale, her Refinement 5 will also give her a great damage increase. And that wraps it up for this video. Arlecchino has a beautiful character design, fun playstyle, insane damage, free to play friendly, and extremely powerful on higher constellations. Overall, approved by me. Thanks for watching my video. I appreciate any form of constructive feedback in the comments section below. Also, a like and a sub would mean the world to me. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.